Hello, this is Chris Flintoff from Not the Andrew Marr Show. We've been covering all the protests since October. If you want to see more of these, then please subscribe if you haven't already.
October and Keir Starmer's stance on Palestine completely lost all my sort of faith and belief in the Labour Party. My constituency was a Tory stronghold, obviously not a Tory supporter either, and it was really pushed upon us that we had to vote Labour to get the Tory out, but with my conscience there was absolutely no way I was going to be voting Labour, so I voted Green this time. I just don't see any change. I think he talks a good game, so to say. I think he's so robotic. I don't think he's got an ounce of integrity. I don't think he's got an ounce of backbone. And I just genuinely don't think there's going to be any change in policy in terms of stopping arms to Israel or any sort of push towards, a ceasefire or, onwards from that two-state solution which we keep banging on about. But yeah, for me, I think it's pretty hopeless. But
Starmer's in government. What do you think of the future?
It's bleak. Probably worse than today's weather. It's bleak.
I think we're in for a lot of trouble. The way he has treated the members of his own party doesn't bode well. This is a very ruthless, autocratic man, and certainly the personality that he's shown so far. People say, oh, he's very kind if you get to know him. That's no good. His public, the way he has behaved to his own party is appalling. There's no diversity. In 400 and something MPs, God help us, none of them will be allowed to be struck off if they start stepping out of line. And as for today's demonstration, he would love to ban it, probably even more so than Suella Braverman. And if any of his MPs start turning up to this sort of demo, I'm sure they'll be struck off from the party.
I think he's a wanker. I think that he's all bite no bark. He says that the Tories have ruined the UK, which is true. He claims he's going to fix it, but that's a lie. The Labour Party have no means to help Palestine. They apparently call for a ceasefire, but they refuse to recognise Palestine as a state. They refuse to end arms sales to Israel. So in conclusion, they're complicit in the genocide. So he's just as bad as Rishi Sunak.
With justice and freedom for Palestinian people. Palestina! Viva, viva Palestina! 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 Intifada revolution! Intifada revolution!
Politicians don't represent us, and we need a new way of doing democracy. Just like how people come to these marches, we need, essentially we need to get rid of this outdated system, the House of Lords, the House, We need to find a way for people to actually get involved as communities. You know, what we found is when you bring people together and sit in the same room, we all have the same concerns. You know, majority of people are against the genocide, right? What these big parties, the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, whoever it is, what they're talking about aren't the issues that actually affect the majority of the British public.
I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the people of Islington North for electing me to Parliament again.
London, welcome to our 15th national demonstration for Palestine. Today, the police tried to stop us from marching towards Parliament. Well, here we are again, in our hundreds of thousands.
Like you on Friday, I was pleased to get rid of the rotten Tory government. But I was not. I have no hope in the Labour government. This Labour government is not on the side of the Palestinians. They tried to silence our voices during this election. The parties did not raise Palestine or Gaza, but you did. Every one of you challenged every candidate, asked them what their position was, and you voted with your conscience for the people that stood up for Palestine and for the people of Gaza right now. And let us be clear, we cannot stop now. We will have to put huge pressure on this Labour government to get justice for the Palestinian people. They will not do it unless we fight for it, so we cannot be silenced now. We must continue to put pressure on for an immediate and permanent ceasefire. We must call for an end of arms to Israel, and we must call for the aid that is at the borders of Gaza to be allowed in immediately to stop the starvation of the Palestinian people in Gaza.
Over the past 9 months, we have been witness to Israel carrying out a genocide upon the Palestinian people. Over the period, we promised the people of Gaza no ceasefire, no vote. So let me start by thanking you for fulfilling that promise. While Keir Starmer and the media want to highlight Labour won 64% of the seats in Parliament, the truth is Labour received only 34% of the vote. This is one of the smallest share of vote post for a party forming a government. Labour's total number of votes fell from 9.7 million down to 10.3 million under Jeremy Corbyn. Hundreds of thousands of people voting for Gaza, which slashed the majority of West Streeting, Jess Phillips, Shabana Mahmood, Rashnara Ali, and of course Keir Starmer. We won 5 MPs who stood on the principle of ending genocide in Gaza. Starmer, you cannot ignore the vast majority of us. Palestine is the issue. Let me repeat, Palestine is the issue. And we demand that you release the legal advice given to the government regarding arms sales to Israel and Israeli war crimes. We demand you resume the funding of UNRWA. Do not be complicit in the genocide of Gaza. While the bombs are killing the people of Gaza, your defunding of UNRWA is starving to death. Finally, we demand that you cancel the Tory government's proposal to make sure that Israeli war criminals are brought to trial at the ICC. Keir Starmer, have no doubt that yes, you have won the election, but you have not won the hearts and minds of the people of this country. Ignore us at your peril. United, we have shown you that we can bring about a change. You do not make Palestine the issue. Your government is not going to last for long.
We have to say to Keir Starmer, if you mean a single scintilla of the word change, if you have any respect for human decency, you must now end the arms supply to Israel that allows Israel to continue this genocide. If you do not do that, you have absolutely no credibility. Because the truth is, Israel could not continue its crimes without the collusion, complicity and support of governments like the British government, like the European Union and like the United States. They are the lifeblood that they give to Israel, the political justification, support and arms. Without those things, Israel could not continue the genocide and its criminal massacre of the people of Palestine. And so, we have to say clearly now, yes, end the arms trade, expel the Israeli ambassador from this country, and we have to be clear, there can be no compromise with apartheid. In Ireland, because of the movement on the streets, the Irish government have been forced to recognise the Palestinian state in the last few weeks. They have been forced to publicly demand that the European Union end its trade agreement with the Zionist state. They were forced to do that. They didn't do it voluntarily. They did it because of hundreds of thousands of people on the streets. But that's not good enough. We don't just want words. And I don't trust the Irish government any more than I trust Keir Starmer. This change has come because of you, because of millions of people across the world. That is our strength, and we have to continue to build that movement to say the apartheid state must be dismantled. There is no place in the civilized world for a system based on colonialism, apartheid. In Ireland, we for the most part ended colonial rule through revolutionary upheaval of the people. That is what we need. That's what happened in Algeria. That's what happened in Vietnam. And that is what we need. A global intifada to liberate Palestine. But also to liberate all of us from the people who have supported and are complicit with that genocide. If ever there was a case to uproot this entire system, it is the horror we've seen in Gaza, and we must pledge ourselves to that task. Free, free Palestine. Saoirse done Palestine. Saoirse done Palestine.
She has sent shockwaves through the political establishment. She put Palestine and the NHS on the ballot. And she has always been rooted in our movement, and she's not going anywhere. Make some noise for Leanne Mohammed!
Sisters and brothers, thank you. When the slaughter of the people of Gaza started 9 months ago, I vowed to myself that life would never be the same. We cannot and will not stand by whilst bombs drop on innocents. Bombs that were made here by munitions companies licensed by our government. I realised that to stop this genocide, we needed to make the politicians listen. And on Thursday, we did exactly that. So let me say this loud and clear. I was 528 votes away from defeating a key member of the Labour cabinet. Wes Streeting and others like him show disdain for the lives of others abroad and those of us here at home. You see, women like me do not stand for elections. We are meant to be seen and not heard by a complacent political class that cares little for our lives, worries and communities. Until now, a sewn-up electoral system has ensured that only one of two parties could have a realistic chance of winning. These parties offer little of value. They contain many vacuous people, careerists, unintelligent and unintelligible. Our campaign in Ilford North has shown that change is possible when you have hope. This Thursday, we stood against the two-party nightmare and nearly won, falling short by only 528 votes. I received 15,119. And the Labour Party's Wes Streeting, 15,647. He had all the money. He had all the party machinery behind him. We built a people-powered movement from the ground up, and we brought people together. Over the past 6 months, my friends and neighbours have opened their hearts and minds to me. In unison, they have told me that the system does not work for them. And both the Labour and Conservatives are two sides of the same rusty coin. This two-party system needs urgent revision. We cannot wait for others. We have to do this. And today I tell you, the independent movement has just begun. We now have 5 pro-Gaza independents. Gaza was the issue that awoken us all to our broken politics. And we shall take back politics from the money men, the vested interests, and those who use politics for their own purposes, and give it back to our communities. So why does Gaza matter? Because the callousness shown by politicians abroad reflects the callousness with which they act at home. I am a proud British Palestinian. I know what these political elites, Starmer, Streeting and others are doing to the world. Gaza is a result of the policies and acceptance of the Tories and Labour. Over 38,000 have been slaughtered in a genocide, and these two parties have culpability. They make money and sell arms at the expense of the misery of others, and we are not going away. We will not let them get away with it. The lesson that we taught them this week is that good people will stand up to this corrupt political class. We need to break free from this two-party nightmare. I want to tell communities across the country that what we did here was to run a lean campaign. It was focused, strategic, people-powered, and above all, it had heart. We have developed a new way of campaigning, and we had volunteers join us from near and far. And this dedication is rare in a country where the political class look down upon the efforts of civic engagement. While the political establishment, Labour and Tory, seek to divide us, I have shown that elections can be fought on the basis of hope and not fear. Gaza will never leave my heart, and this last week has made me even more resolute. We will never stop until Palestine is free.
For those of us who've spent the past 6 weeks doing some crazy stuff, it's really good to come home to where we all came from. The struggle for Gaza and for Palestine. Keir Starmer is the first British Prime Minister in electoral history to enter 10 Downing Street having seen his majority reduced. And the reason for that is that hundreds of people came from all over the United Kingdom to my home, to his constituency of Holborn and Pancras, to say to him, we do not like your politics, we do not support your politics, and we are going to hold you to account as your local constituents. Because the reality is, it is Keir Starmer and all the others who support genocide who are also not investing in our homes, not investing in our NHS, not investing in our schools, because they are spending tens of billions of pounds subsidizing the weapons that get illegally sent to Israel to be used in the slaughter of innocent Palestinians. Keir Starmer claims that my former boss, Nelson Mandela, is his political hero. Well, let us remind Keir Starmer what Nelson Mandela said. First of all, he said, Israeli apartheid is even worse and more brutal than apartheid was in South Africa. In addition, he said, Israel was apartheid South Africa's closest ally, and I will always be the enemy of the friends of my enemy, like Israel. But most importantly, of course, Keir Starmer must be reminded that when Nelson Mandela emerged from 27 years in an apartheid prison, what he said was, our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinian people. And that is why we are going to organize in Holborn and St Pancras and in every constituency in the United Kingdom, not just so that at the next elections we get neither a red nor a blue Tory government, but we get a true government of the people that stands with the people of Palestine.
It is one of the greatest privileges of my lifetime to introduce the independent MP for the People's Republic of Islington North and our Prime Minister, Jeremy Corbyn!
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for coming here today. Thank you all for standing by the people of Gaza and the Palestinian people all over the world. What we do here today in London is important, does matter, does make a difference, and I know many of you have made long and expensive journeys to be here. Thank you for your steadfastness for the Palestinian people. And we've just come out of the election campaign, and I want to use this opportunity as the second speech I've made since Thursday night. Yesterday I was at Finsbury Park Mosque. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the people of Islington North for electing me to Parliament again. As an independent MP, as somebody who has spoken out and will always speak out for the Palestinian people and for peace all around the world. I believe I have that mandate in Parliament over there to carry out doing that over the lifetime of the next Parliament. And I want to say that this Parliament will be different to others in many ways. One of them is that I will be joined by 4 great comrades who were also elected as independent MPs on Thursday. And I'm very proud to be here on a platform with good friends like Leanne and Andrew, Michael and so many others that have done so much to campaign consistently for Palestine. Now, in that Parliament, we have a great opportunity of giving a message to the new government. But I hope in that cabinet meeting, which may even still be going on, I don't know, they would just sit back for a moment, look through those windows onto that garden of Downing Street and Horse Guards outside and think for a moment. They have a responsibility and an opportunity. They have a responsibility to act in a proper and decent manner. They should also reflect that the vote, the total vote achieved by all the Labour candidates on Thursday was less than was achieved in the last 2 general elections. A considerable loss of votes from both those elections. And I would wager that those votes were lost in large measure because of the failure of people who knew better and should have taken the opportunity they had to speak out, stand up and say, cease fire now in Gaza. And so it's up to the new government what it does, but it's also up to us what we do. And I just remind them of this. 40,000 people have already been killed in Gaza. Just think about that figure for a moment. 40,000 lives have been lost. Many of those were children. And more are being lost because of diarrhea, hunger, dehydration, wholly preventable conditions. Medicines not available, water not available, food not available, education impossible, universities all bombed, work impossible. A whole society has been destroyed. And it continues to be bombed even more. So, in calling for a ceasefire, you have to ask yourself, from where do all the weapons come that have brought about this destruction? Is it right that this country should facilitate the supply of weapons through the RAF base at Akrotiri into Israel? Is it right that we should be supplying the bombs that are destroying the homes, that are destroying the aid that goes into Gaza? This is a moral question. The morality has to be challenged. Is the morality to kowtow to the arms industry and the arms companies that make the planes, supply the bombs, guide the weapons, and indeed those computer systems that guide those weapons to destroy life? Or is the morality to stand up against those powerful vested interests and say, not in our name is this done? And so this is the message we're giving today. To the new government, listen to the results on Thursday. Listen to the voices of ordinary people. Ordinary people, be they Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, or of no faith. Listen to some of the ordinary people in Israel. Listen to the people in Palestine. Listen to the people all over the region. And indeed, listen to the students all over the world who occupied their universities. On which side of history do you wish to place yourselves? On the side of those that bombed, destroyed and killed life? Or do you want to be on the side of those that stood up for peace, for justice and for hope by ending the occupation of both Gaza and the West Bank and bringing about justice for the Palestinian refugees all around the world? But you know what? Our demonstrations here in Britain are huge, as they are in many other parts of the world. And ignore labels for a moment about who's in which party, who said what to who did what to who. What we have is the kernel of a mass political movement that is for social justice in our societies, an end to the scourge of child poverty and homelessness, an end to the mental health crisis brought about by poverty in our societies. But it's also a movement that wants to see things done differently, not to increase expenditure on weapons when we could be spending that money on more useful things, not to develop a new generation of nuclear weapons, but instead a movement that is about confronting the problems that we all face of environmental change, of economic injustice and poverty and all those things. So my message quite simply to them over there is this: we are the people, we are a movement, we are a voice, we are staying together, we are marching together, we're working together, we're demanding together, we're achieving together, and we will never ever go away. So, keep on demonstrating, keep on demanding, keep on talking, because history is on our side, the people who stood with the oppressed against the oppressor. That is the place to be. That is why we're here, and that's why we're going to stay as long as it takes on all our demonstrations to bring peace for the people of Palestine. Thank you.
I'm here with Iqbal Mohammed, who is now the MP for Dewsbury and Batley, and I have to say it was the largest majority, I think, of any independent, and just an amazing result. How are you feeling now?
I'm feeling very honoured, privileged and humbled that our community in Dewsbury Batley rallied around and provided their support and came out in droves and voted. It's really, really humbling, and I'm looking forward to representing them in Parliament.
And can you tell us how you managed to get that all together? How long were you a candidate, and what kind of team did you have behind you to win that result?
So the community set up a selection process. We had 12 applicants, a first interview, and a shortlisting of 4 candidates. We had a hustings on Sunday, June the 2nd. And on the evening of that hustings, they already selected me. So we had from the 3rd of June till the 4th of July to put together a team and run a campaign to get elected. And everybody who came out, they did a fantastic job. And obviously the results are there for all to see.
And you sort of had something in place already because there were council elections. Can you tell us what those were, the council thing?
So the May the 2nd elections, we had 5 independent candidates elected in Kirklees who beat Labour candidates who had been in council for the previous term. And we had this model. Each ward is quite, we have similarities, but there are unique differences. And each ward ran their campaign in their own way. And that worked. So we had each ward councillor leading their ward campaign for the general election, copy-paste what they did, not reinvent the wheel, and then add a bit of Iqbal Mohammed's personality, a bit of social media, a lot of door knocking. We did over half the constituents. So there's 70,000 plus voters and 40,000 doors to knock. I think we went around about 20,000 in 4 weeks or 3 weeks. It's been an amazing effort, and the results are there for all to see.
And it started raining, so I'll just have to ask you a very quick question. When did you start work as an MP?
So I've just been had an email from the office in Parliament trying to get hold of me to tell me where I have to go and what I have to do to get my pass and start, work in the House of Parliament. So I'll tell you when I know. I don't know at the moment.
You don't know at the moment?
Very soon.
And one other question before it really starts raining. How many volunteers did you have to get this victory? How many people do you need?
So we had over 32,000 voters, and I call them all volunteers. Whoever they voted for, I represent each and every one of them, and I represent even the constituents who couldn't come out to vote or didn't feel that their voice made any difference. The message to them is, I will try and make a difference for every single constituent. We had a core team of about 30 people who were part-time, full-time, taking time off work and dedicating. And then we had people dip in and dip out. But however many we had, I say a big thanks to them all, and it's a great achievement, and this victory is for them and for the constituents.
And is it possible for other constituencies to follow suit, say for the next general election?
My message, if you want to break free of the shackles of this two-party system, is define a process, keep it open to all to apply, select your candidate, and get behind them 100%. Dewsbury and Batley have united, and the results are there for all to see. We have changed the face of politics in our constituency, and hopefully working with people like Jeremy Corbyn, Shocker Adam and the other independents, we will try and change the face of politics in Parliament.
Thank you so much for spending your time and for getting wet at the same time. Really appreciate it, and good luck in Parliament. Thanks. Back to the studio.